through, because of the size of the locks, the entire boat is 48 feet wide.
Okay.
So it's got to be 45 feet on the boat, so we have 18 inches. It makes for a small cabin. But hey, that was good. We saw a lot of stuff that we had not done before. Okay, close that so I can
I
actually.
have a question.
Tuesday.
Oh, that's because I had no power at my house.
Oh, your power's out.
Yeah, so I had to physically lift my garage door. And so I put it back down and now it's down. What do I have to do to hook it back up?
The, let's see, the chain, actually, once you pull that
Yeah,
lever,
I pulled it,
you should be able to open and close it, no problem.
but it won't.
It won't go back up, so maybe it'll probably re-engage. You have to do it from the inside. Do you have keys to just open the front door?
Yeah, I think so.
You're like me. Actually, up until like 2 weeks ago, none of us had a front door key but me. And so I went and made keys for the boys. And so I was like, oh, I can't believe. And we also made a key for our, like Harry's got a glass door, security door.
Yeah, see, I have a security door and that's what I'm not sure I have
Yeah.
a key to. But I think I do.
Bet you don't.
Huh?
Bet you don't. I would imagine you do not have it.
They're like this size. They're like those guys sometimes. Because it's a small one.
Mine's a bigger lock, I think.
They're about that size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can force it. Screwdrivers work great.
So if it re-engaged and I have power when I go home, if I push my
It
garage.
should work, yeah.
It should work?
Now, if
Even
it
though I
doesn't,
pulled it out?
right, now if it doesn't, if you're hitting the button and you know you have power, like maybe your lights are on or something, and you can tell you have power, and it doesn't, then that means it's just heavy and you're gonna really have to keep up.
So I should be able to, as long as it doesn't lock up above, then I should be able to open it. Okay, it says that our power is supposed to go back on it between 8 and 9. It's like out in the garage and it's dark. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I'm like,
And me and Axel are always happy to come help you too. Like you're not that far. You're just the other side of Spain for me. Because I'm on Montebo and Comanche.
okay.
So for me to loop down Montebo, make a right.
I'll take your phone number and call you if I can.
Yeah. Or if you're like, Chris, I think it's free. I have no power. I just need extra pair of hands. Don't be one hand.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was pretty heavy when I lifted it from inside,
They
but
are.
I had the 2 different things to hold on to that
Right.
worked.
And on the outside, to be fair, it's smooth. It's practically a smooth surface, so you can't really get a grip. And you got to make sure. And I've seen this happen more than once. You got to make sure that your fingertips are away from the gaps because you can get.
Oh, because it pinches as it closes.
I've seen people get their pads. in their
Yeah, well, I
fingers.
have one that's already a mess.
I'm special.
Excellent. Okay, the sound is working. We've got a number of Carol's online.
804-118.
Patty Forbes and Doug are out there. Laura's online. We're good. We can start now.
And the splashdown happened
I don't know.
fine.
Well, I
was
assumed
watching
it.
when it went blank.
Well, I watched it when it went blank, and I assumed they landed, or else everything would be, oh my goodness, they died in re-entry.
Well, I was watching it and then I couldn't find out the answer. I was like, oh.
Well, okay, let me turn it on. I'm sure someone online will answer that for you, but let's see. If they're,
Oh, look at it. Look, it looks lovely.
Yeah.
This is a torch or something?
It's a Passover cake. Oh, that Harry found. Kosher for Passover, gluten-free, 7-layer roll.
Oh, sounds like it.
they're bombing on the ocean.
That I ate.
Well, I had to buy a new refrigerator.
Oh.
And when I got it to my house, it was on 7.
There's a large space capsule
It has.
with 4 bright balloons bobbing on the ocean. I think they're fine.
They made it back.
because there was no
You know,
lights and no
I
sound.
realized that most of the
It was
roads
a
talking heads,
mess.
we could be bored.
And now it's trying to figure out.
That was 72.
Yeah. I know, I hate buying new
I
appliances.
do too, because I don't know how to work it.
Yeah.
And then I paid some guy $150 to come and bring it into the house, and they turned the water off, so I had no water on ice. And I thought it was broken.
Then the power goes out.
And now I
So that is living in the Stone Age.
I am.
Quite honestly, if you're not bringing water and power goes out, you're literally back to 1931.
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah.
Well, it felt like, you know, I went into the garage because I thought I had heard some, one of the folklore when the power went out, couldn't get out of the garage. I thought, but I know how. So I go out and I hit the lights off the thing when I go in the garage, it's dark. Oh, no light. Oh, I need my flashlight. Then I hit the garage door opener. This is an idiot. You have to know that nothing's going to work.
I think that's the biggest one. There's a few mediums. Your brothers aren't here, so you can grab the biggest.
That's true. You know, you did get here on time and you were punctual, so.
Yes. You get choices. Everybody else gets whatever. Yeah, let me grab a spoon here. I thought that one. Yeah, so this was Lily's contribution to us, and she's our Oreos that she was given.
Oh, you didn't make the Oreos?
And put them in the bags.
You put them in the bags?
What else did, and then she brought a coconut, but it didn't work.
Also, it's pineapple season. You can get pineapples for $2 at Walmart. Me and Axel were eating them all week. They're super
Coconut.
sweet. Coconut's fun.
Coconut
Coconut milk, I love coconut milk.
It wouldn't break, no.
I got a second one and I had to use a sledgehammer to get it open.
Yikes.
I realized I didn't have to.
How many people are you expecting tonight?
So, I don't know, our Austin and,
Oh, Aiden got sent home from work today. He got some stuff going on.
oh,
He was
okay,
working drive-through and he kept coughing and sneezing. His manager's like, gotta go.
okay.
He's like, I can't have us all get sick.
Yeah.
So he went home, he's not feeling well. And then Austin's got a date
Excellent.
Okay.
with a girl.
A date?
That's good.
Are you sure about that?
Girl.
A little
Oh,
brother
we know
is
what-
always
what driver we're there.
a good one liner.
Unless you.
Who is he? I might know
A real girl.
him. A real girl.
Oh,
Whoa, this is a big
Whoa. All right, so that means these two, don't, necessarily
okay,
need it,
I can pull 2 chairs right now. We'll pull,
Who's all of these?
so Maria said that they were coming,
Oh,
and then Laura.
so that's 3. Well, maybe Laura fits in here and then.
Laura could
take
be,
one
yeah,
out
so
there.
take
Yeah.
one.
Laura could be
one
next to
there.
me.
Well, Diana said she could sit next
Okay.
to her too.
I'm pulling
She's
2
just so
chairs.
popular.
which
She
2?
didn't sit next to me this.
Well, I thought I'd leave it off the table a little.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
pulling
maybe
this one.
you can
Okay.
sit there. Lily can sit there.
Because I knew Denise wasn't coming.
Oh, there's
We have assigned seating now. That's what this is coming to.
No, wait, no.
I can move over next to you.
Feels like school again.
Okay, that's Abercrombie's.
All right.
Laura can figure out where she wants to sit.
I have
Yeah,
to
do
tell
you-
you, I got new plans.
Yes, well, I'm sure you can talk to Laura. There's Maria. But you don't have to tell her where
Ta-da!
she needs to sit.
Hey,
I
Maria.
made it.
Yep.
Hello. Thank you, thank you. I sure miss everybody tons.
Isn't it awful when
I feel so like.
Okay, Suzanne, hi all. So,
I'm neglecting
Oh,
everybody.
So you guys can have the three right here, all of you are coming.
Okay.
And then have granddaughter Judy.
Granddaughter Judy. All right, I'll let Joe sit here and I'll sit
you
here.
want to read?
This is a fundraiser, Lily.
Yay.
Oh, yes.
How are you doing?
I only have 4 tickets left.
Not bad.
And 2 of them are. That would be. Oh, so.
Let's see, there
And tickets-
plenty of space tonight.
Yes, I will.
Okay, 2-minute warning.
I have one.
Okay,
You have
I brought my jacket because I wasn't sure.
I know.
It's so up and down these days.
Got new plants. I have a question on my plants.
Okay.
They're turning yellow, the leaves. What is that?
they're dying. Sorry, just, yeah, I just,
I guess how often is it?
don't give me a punchline this time of night. You know better than that.
The self-watering, like indicator thing.
I just put water in that.
Yeah.
Every week.
Okay, that might be a little too much. I learned to, I typically do self-watering pots as like, when I see it down, then I kind of look at, like, feel the soil, and if it's still fairly, like, if it still feels like there's some water content in the soil and it's too down, I'll leave it for a bit.
And that's what I do. I tell it, and then I wait a while and then I pull it out and the extra out.
Okay, so it may not be that it has red full, my like, I think, I learned recently that yellow leaves can be a sign of nitrogen deficiency, so maybe that's.
Did they figure out at all what's wrong with Aiden?
No, it's just a cough, he's sneezing, keeps coughing, keeps sneezing.
Okay, I can now move that now.
That's what Kevin said.
Austin has a date. It's your phone.
All right.
Which is a
Yeah, you
phone.
can come out.
It's crazy that these days we have to say that. Oh.
Okay, I don't know what to do. I'm going to try all of the things I know how to do, like one at a time, and then hopefully we'll Yeah, so
Down just.
I wish I had a better answer for you.
That's good. Thank you.
I
No.
got a string of pearls.
It's just cold symptoms.
I'm raising. it.
Coughing, sneezing,
Okay,
yeah,
Me. Very
it's
cool.
called
So I have to
allergies.
water it about.
possibly.
Okay. To kind of just make it happy.
Right, yeah, it'll need more when it's a baby and not, like, especially if it doesn't have roots yet, and, or doesn't have much in terms of roots.
What it has.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
special. And I keep
What are those orange things?
They look like they might be vegetables.
Being bad.
It's so opposite from here.
Good to see all y'all.
We're here.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
We survived.
The weather was
Now, one of the things that was odd about the boat was we would be parked next to another boat on both sides. So you open up your window and you're looking either into somebody else's room or the blank side of a ship. That was real fun.
no ocean view.
No, we had what they call a French balcony, which means you open the window and there's some bars so you don't fall out. But, you know, most of our travel time was at night, so you couldn't see anything. And we do bus tours into places that saw some neat stuff, but it's like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
it wasn't the experience I expected.
Oh, okay. It's bad.
Remind me where you guys live again?
Okay, we flew into Amsterdam, spent 3 days there, got on a boat, floated around for 7 days, and then did a 4-day bus tour going down to Brussels and Luxembourg.
Some castles.
Saw some castles, saw a lot of town squares. It was a good trip. I enjoyed it. Gate one travel is cheaper than any of the others. They deliver exactly what they say they'll deliver.
working on one for.
But okay, you closing it? Good. Okay, we're about 3 minutes over, so we'll start with prayer and then kick into Joshua 9. Father, be with Denise as she's recovering. David as he's recovering from the surgery yesterday. Glad that Maria's with us. Help her to recover completely so they can make the trip back east. In all things, have the preeminence. Thank you for allowing the astronauts to return safely. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, it's been,
So they landed?
oh, they landed, yeah, they're, okay, at this point, I'm using this one because it's probably the only one that covers it. They crossed the Jordan River, defeated Ai, went up to Shechem, and renewed the covenant. Now, there's a whole long discourse that if you buy me a cup of coffee sometime, I'll go through talking about what's the connection between Shechem and the Israelites, because it's not direct. Last time we read about Shechem, a guy had 12 sons and they killed everybody in the town. So it was a real fun time for all. But tonight we're going to be moving into the southern, what's called the Southern Campaign and the Northern Campaign to seize territory. Before we really start, look at this brown on this map and on the maps that I gave you. Those are the only areas Israel will eventually actually hold. This the great conquest sort of that wasn't. The territory of Judah they grabbed. The territory across the river was captured when Moses was still with them. And that's going to go away eventually. So really, the hill country, not the good valleys, Mount Tabor and the Jezreel Valley, breadbasket of Israel, that doesn't belong to them. So as we go through, we read about the conquests, the destruction of all of the kings. Kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that these are raids, not conquest and occupation. So, questions on that brief summary? Okay, anybody who wants to go over the Battle of Ai, I'll be happy to do that. That's also a cup of coffee. Now, I sent out and laying on the table, this map is similar to the one behind me, but it doesn't show what they actually conquered. But it does show you the routes that they will take, the directions that they're going into the Southern Campaign, and then back up to the Northern Campaign. Everybody's got a copy of that. You also have, looks like this, which is the Southern Campaign only. You'll notice on this map, you got a question mark, question mark, question mark. Many of these towns we're not sure where they are. But when you think of a town in this period, please remember they might have 3,000 people in them if they're big, like Hebron. Or Ai was small. It was 1.5 acres. I mean, I've seen, I have been to the excavation of Ai. It is only an acre and a half, which is like 5 city blocks. So don't think this is massive walls, nothing could, no, the guys climbed over them when no one was looking. Yes.
You would think of like, this is Greek because, you know, like Mycenae, like being that big thing, that's what you imagine I to look like. And
Yeah.
then you find out what it looks like and you're just like, that's depressing.
If the sound isn't quite up to it, the point made was Ai is little. It's not like the Greek city of Mycenae that has been excavated and is 8 acres. So what I'm trying to do is not say, oh my goodness, the Bible is lying. It is not. But we have always been taught they conquered the city of. Okay, the city wall might only be 4 feet high. 6 feet if you're trying to keep the wolves out. What we think of as small towns or villages are called cities because the headman might control that city and 5 or 6 little communities outside of it. So I'm trying to give you an image of what the Israelites are fighting. Okay, to that end, let me jump here a bit, and we'll go right into the situation that begins chapter 9. Israel has conquered Ai, and the people in the south are scared. Every one of the kings who would happily steal territory and sheep and goats from the other king previously is going, hey, we got to get together here. We got to take these guys on. So they're trying to form a confederation in the south. And one city says, there may be another option here. How about we make peace with the Israelites? This city, Gibeon, actually believed what God said, maybe more than the Israelites did. They look at Ai, they're going, okay, they conquered, they went up to Shechem, and they came back. What do we do now, coach? So with that, how about we go to 9, 1 through 6.
Sure.
And we begin the Gibeonites' secret mission.
As soon as all the kings who were beyond the Jordan and the hill country and in the lowland, all along the coast of the great sea toward Lebanon, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites heard of this, they gathered together as one to fight against Joshua and Israel. But when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and to Ai, they on their part acted with cunning and went and made ready provisions and took worn out sacks for their donkeys and wineskins worn out and torn and mended, with worn out patched sandals on their feet and worn out clothes, and all their provisions were dry and crumbly. And they went to Joshua, the camp at Gilgal, and said to him and to the men of Israel, we have come from a distant country, so now make a covenant with us.
Okay, now, one of the reasons I gave you this map today was, if you notice, Ai is right here, and Gibeon is right there, and Bethel is right there,
Right.
and they only are about 6 miles away. So look at, just read the summary of, let's put on old clothes, let's get crumbly bread in our bags, let's do everything we possibly can to look like we've come from the last 3 or 4 weeks traveling. And we'll say, we come from a far country. It's a con. The children of Israel don't consult God in any of this. That's the setup. God. Maria, you ready? How about 7 through 15?
But the men of Israel said to the Hivites, perhaps you live among us. Then, how can we make a covenant with you? They said to Joshua, we are your servants. And Joshua said to them, who are you? And where do you come from? They said to him, from a very distant country your servants have come, because of the name of the Lord your God. For we have heard a report of him, and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon the king, to the king of Heshbon, and to Og, king of Bashan, who lived in Ashtaroth. So our elders and all the inhabitants of our country said to us, take provisions in your hands for the journey, and to go to meet them, and say to them, we are your servants. Come now, make a covenant with us. Here is our bread. It was still warm when we took it from our houses as our food for the journey on the day we set out to come to you. But now, behold, it is dry and crumbly. These wineskins were new when we filled them. And behold, they have burst, and these garments and sandals of ours are worn out from the very long journey. So the men took some of their provisions, but did not ask counsel from the Lord. And Joshua made peace with them, and made a covenant with them to let them live, and the leaders of the congregation swore to them.
Anybody see a problem here? Yeah.
The first problem, they didn't consult the Lord.
Yeah, that's their chief problem.
Mhm.
If Joshua or one of the other elders had gotten on his hind legs and said, Lord, what should we do? Consult the high priest. The high priest makes sacrifice, consults the Urim and Thimble, and go, kill them all. But that's not what they did. They used good human logic and go, oh, these guys have been traveling for weeks. Got to be outside of the territory that God's going to give us. We can make a treaty with them, and we can have friendly neighbors. Not the best. It sounds good.
Also, think about there's a little bit of ego there in a sense where, wow, these guys have traveled far, so that means word of us has traveled far.
Mhm.
So here they've shown up and like, oh man, people from far away must be afraid of us.
Yep. Oh yeah, they're playing to all the ego points you can get, and they talk about what happened the other side up in Bashan, what we would call northern Jordan, southern Syria, and to the Moabites, the Ammonites, and the people that live on the hill country, which is the fertile area of Jordan, 3,000 feet up. You know, they've won that. I mean, there's 2.5 tribes over there. Hey, these guys are conquerors. Yeah, hey, we're great.
And we had what, 2 big wins?
Well, they had several big wins on the other side of Jordan, and then they had Ai as a big win, and they're pumped up.
At least maybe this is where if you're not going to consult God, at least have a lady in the group. This is, listen, guys, you guys got 2 lousy wins, big deal. And look at their teeth. Look how white their teeth are. They didn't come that far. Check your pride, fellas.
Just take that down.
Just just saying. Just saying.
They're the women that ask the right questions.
Yeah.
They rolled them with their.
Where are you from? Really?
Yeah.
Their toes aren't that dirty.
Yeah, we laugh about it, but starting tomorrow morning, there are going to be diplomats talking to each other in Pakistan.
Mhm.
And the Pakistan defense minister said that Israel is the curse of the earth and must be removed. That was his welcome to the people from Iran. I mean, and he's one of the people in the discussion. Sorry, I think there's a slight problem with, treaties are wonderful if they work. And the Gibeonites have concluded one that works.
But they didn't, even if they didn't ask God, they could have investigated a little bit more. They said that it came from a distant country.
Yeah.
Well, these Israelites have traveled around a little bit. What country? Where?
What's the name of your city? Gibeon? Gibeon? I mean, we can joke about it, and that I think that actually aids learning. But these men know that eventually this con's going to be cut.
Yeah.
They've got to have a plan B, and they actually do. Are we ready for verses 16 to 21? The Gibeon Treaty aftermath.
At the end of 3 days after they had made a covenant with them, they heard that they were their neighbors and that they lived among them. And the people of Israel set out and reached their cities on the third day. Now their cities were Gibeon, Cherethiah, Beeroth, and Kiriath-Jearim.
Yep.
But the people of Israel did not attack them, because the leaders of the congregation had sworn to them by the Lord, the God of Israel. Then all the congregation murmured against the leaders. But all the leaders said to the congregation, We have sworn to them by the Lord, the God of Israel, and now we may not touch them. This we will do to them. Let them live, lest wrath be upon us, because of the oath that we have swore to them. And the leaders said to them, Let them live. So they became cutters of wood and drawers of water for all the congregation, just as the leaders had said of them.
Okay. You become our slaves. You do the work we don't want to do. Later, you'll find that Joshua refines it to, and they'll work for the priests as drawers of water, cutters of wood. But that's a slight refinement. Less than a generation before, the children of Israel were in slavery. Now, they've gotten, the Jordan Valley is down here. They've fought their way up to the ridge line, about 2,500 feet above sea level, and they now have slaves that live in 4 cities on that ridge line. That's the way of the patriarchs. If you remember the trade routes coming from north to south, Gibeon is on that. The city just south of it is Jerusalem. So this is they have penetrated the trade routes and are beginning to affect communication, at least in the hills, because Gibeon is now theirs. But they're not at Gibeah. They're down still at the Jordan River at Gilgal. That's where they apparently, after I go north to Shechem, come back to Gilgal, where their flocks and herds are, and there's grass. So they haven't really occupied even the hill country yet. That's about to change. Okay, verses 22 through 27.
Joshua summoned them, and he said to them, Why did you deceive us, saying, We are very far from you, when you dwell among us? Now therefore you are cursed, and some of you shall never be anything but servants, cutters of wood, and drawers of water for the house of my God. They answered Joshua, Because it was told to your servants for a certainty that the Lord your God had commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land and destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. So we feared greatly for our lives because of you, and did this thing. And now, behold, we are in your hand. Whatever seems good and right in your sight to do to us, do it. So he did. Oh, sorry.
Killed every one of them.
So he did this to them and delivered them out of the hand of the people of Israel, and they did not kill them. But Joshua made them that day cutters of wood and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of the Lord, to this day in the place that he should choose.
Okay, to this day, that little phrase there is one that a lot of theologians go, oh, this had to have been written long after the fact. We know that there were still Gibeonites in Israel at the time of Solomon. We don't know beyond that. They're intermarrying, humans be humans. But, I point that out because you will encounter people going, well, they really didn't conquer and they couldn't have done. See, the date is different. Well, sorry, guys. When was it written? I think Joshua wrote the bulk of this book. But have there been scribes sitting down, making it a little clearer since then? Yes. So that we can understand what Joshua wrote. I mean, if it was a standard military report, it would be that conquered I, Gibeonites surrendered, made them slaves. Next move, I mean, that's not enough detail for what we're trying to understand in the Israelite conquest.
And I guess in some ways you can't blame little towns like Gibeon, because they would say, well, it doesn't matter who conquers the land or who the boss is. We're paying servitude in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah.
So whether the boys from the north win or the Philistines win or the Israelites win, we're in the middle and we're not tough enough to stick up for ourselves. So, they're just playing their hand.
Yeah, they're playing the hand they're dealt. And they're playing it very well.
No, they are, yeah.
I mean, we can beat them up, but they survived.
And what's interesting is, so not only did the Israelites not pray or lean on God in that scenario, but they also made a covenant in the name of God.
Yeah.
So you've literally put yourself, you've lost all leverage.
Oh, yeah.
You literally gave them what they wanted and got nothing. Yeah.
Well, how many people today would, in the name of God, I'll do that, and won't? These guys are afraid.
Right.
Remember what happened to Achan down at Jericho? Just a small pyramid of gold, some nice silk for my wife. He and his entire family were wiped out. That kind of sticks in your mind if you're one of the leaders of Israel. Going, okay, will God blot me out if I break my word to the Gibeonites?
Well, in the first Battle of Ai, they didn't
Right.
seek the Lord either.
Nope. I mean, Joshua's learning from experience.
Yeah, they're just like that.
And I thought it was interesting that they have to have known that this would have been found out pretty soon. And the Israelites would probably be, it would be fresh enough on their minds, and they would probably be mad at being deceived enough to where, okay, well, to where they must have looked at the decision as either we all die or they get pissed off at us because we lied to them and made them promise something, and so we become slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically, it was interesting that was the option they
It's
thought
one down here,
was-
Pat. Okay.
They took
Well,
a chance.
yeah.
Right, yeah,
They
yeah,
rolled
Yeah.
the dice and said, well, we could have died back when.
right.
Yeah.
Or let's go ahead and try to make fellowship with them, but
Yep.
We know
take a
that,
chance. But
Right,
either way,
yeah.
we could still die from it.
yeah, like either way, our society is going to
Yeah.
basically dissolve in one way or another. We might as well still be alive at the end
Take
of
a
it.
chance at it.
Yeah. Now, all of these petty kingdoms, or kinglets, if you like, they're only about 40 square miles max, including the main city and what they think they control. And thank you, Pat, that helps. The entire side of my face was glowing.
It's Moses.
It's just like Moses.
Yeah. Yeah, his face glowed, yes. Anyway, Amazing how when you close the curtain, it doesn't. I believe you should have fun with the Bible. Sorry,
God
but
has a sense of humor.
to Chris's point, all of these people owed allegiance to the Egyptians, and they all hated each other. They all tried to fight each other, and it's like the city of Edgewood deciding to take on to Harris. It's not exactly a big fight. And they're doing it with clubs, knives, and swords. So, but it was very common for the Egyptians to demand tribute in slaves. Now, if I'm in Gibeon, I'm going to go down towards the coast, grab some people, shepherds, whoever I can grab, and I'm going to ship them off somebody else's city to appease the Egyptians in their tribute. Now, the people from down below come up and do the same thing, but it's very common for that to be happening. Do they trust each other? Not particularly. Each of them has a different tribal clan name. Hivites. The only place you see that is Gibeon. There aren't other Hivites. Hittites, they're a big empire to the north, but does this help explain the political situation that we're entering? Now, the Gibeonites made the choice, we're going to con them, they'll catch us, we'll become slaves, we stay alive. They believed what God said, that the Israelites are going to conquer the territory. Do we want to be dead or we want to be alive? And the other option is, we are kings, let's go attack Israel. And we're going to see two examples of that becomes the Southern campaign and the Northern campaign. Any questions at this point? Okay. Chapter 10, verses 1 through 5. A confederation is formed.
Now Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had taken Ai and totally destroyed it, doing to Ai and its king as he had done to Jericho and its king, and that the people of Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and had become their allies. He and his people were very much alarmed at this, because Gibeon was an important city, like one of the royal cities. It was larger than Ai, and all its men were good fighters. So Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, appealed to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhia, king of Lachish, and Deber, king of Eglon. Come up and help me attack Gibeon, he said, because it has made peace with Joshua and the Israelites. Then the 5 kings of the Amorites, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, joined forces. They moved up with all their troops and took up positions against Gibeon and attacked.
Okay. That's why I put this out earlier. These kings down here decide we've got to go up to Gibeon. They broke faith with us. They're a royal city. They could have withstood the Israelite attack. Because remember, Bethel closed its gates and Joshua did not attack. So the city walls would have protected them, they think. Their solution is, we have to go and punish the Gibeonites and take control of Gibeon and stop the Israelites from penetrating further into the hill country. So here you got Gibeon. Yes?
When she was reading to me, and it said, it's bigger than I just thought, isn't everything bigger than I?
Yeah, the comment is everything's bigger than I, and that's true. I was a small fortress. It was guarding a trade route, and it would have delayed raiders from attacking Bethel. That's why it was there. Now, they're saying, and all of these are real cities. Some of them have not yet been excavated, but Lachish certainly has. Libna has. Azkah has. I mean, so they're real cities, and the troops that they can take out of the city and march off to war, which means the guards that the king had himself, maybe 200 people, maybe more, their police force, think of it as their police force, their fire department, people that work for the city are going to march off. They're going to leave old guys like me and young guys like Ed Axton, and we're going to defend the city in their absence. But these are the mobile forces of 5 cities, and they're not attacking Israel. Their goal is to surround Gibeon, reduce it, and recover Gibeon as a city that they can use against the Israelites.
So this wasn't bait to then get Israel attacked.
No, their purpose, as stated, was that they're going to, let's make a confederation, let's come together, go up, get Gibeon back in line, and then we've got a solid front. Then we can fight these Israelites. God had a slightly different plan. This is a long section, 6 through 15.
The Gibeonites then sent word to Joshua in the camp of Gilgal, "Do not abandon your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us. Help us, because all the Amorite kings from the hill country have joined forces against us." So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you." After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel, who defeated them in a great victory at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. As they fled before Israel, the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them from the sky, and more of them died from the hailstones than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, "O sun, stand still over Gibeon. O moon, over the valley of Ajalon." So the sun stood still and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. It is as it is written in the book of Jashar. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a man. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Then Joshua returned with all Israel to the camp at Gilgal.
Okay, Gilgal is minus 1,200 feet elevation. Gibeon is about 2,400 feet plus elevation. It's a night march. Now, they've made this march before. They know how to get to Ai. They know how to come from the south. So probably they marched from the south near Jerusalem and up. It's still about 18 miles in the dark. Now, if you're an Amorite king or kinglet, you've got 5 different armies that are coordinated but not really allies surrounding Gibeon. You're going to launch your attack at daybreak, probably, or thereabouts. What do you do when the Israelites attack you just before daybreak? Now, you're not wearing uniforms. You don't have radios. Go, hey, Whiskey Tango out. You can't do that. You get scared. What direction do you run? The answer is downhill. The Valley of Abajon, which goes generally west and north to swing around on the plain. And as you're doing this, you're being hit from the sky by hailstones. Now, you don't have a nice metal pot on your head. You don't have a flak vest on. You don't even have probably leather armor. Now, if I'm being hit by a piece of ice, a couple inches in diameter, being chased, now if I'm stunned, I've got guys who are more than happy to hit me on the head with a club or a sword and finish the job. But that's what these kings are facing. How do you rally your troops when you're trying to dodge ice balls?
Mhm.
Last question.
This is my second. I get 5.
Okay. Not that she's a little snotty. Your question.
When we were reading about hail, it just reminds me so much of Pompeii. Like, it's just coming down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they're running, and a lot of them don't have pots on their heads.
No, or anything over them. The point made, because this microphone, I'm still trying to solve that problem, but that this is like Pompeii. The people, when they finally realized what was going on, were running under fireballs coming down from the volcanoes of Vesuvius. Here, it's ice. Good point.
Well, I'm trying to think of. So when you look at the map and you see the route of the Israelites, they go from and then you go look at Jerusalem. At this time, it still would have been considered Jebu, right?
Yes.
Okay, Jebu. So they go Gilgal to Ai, and you see that Gilgal may have been an outpost for Jericho. Ai was an outpost for Bethel, and then they go in and they quasi took over or control via tributary to Gibeon. So they've now cut off the entire everything north of Jebu.
Yep.
But every time they attack, they go then back to Gilgal. What would be the strategic benefit of returning back to Gilgal over and over and not staying put on that advancement? And even resetting up those outposts to your own advantage. Like, it doesn't make.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Going back down to Gilgal does not make sense to me. But he's taking his fighting force, he takes the mobile force up to fight at Gibeon and attack these 5 kings. He's leaving, like I said before, the cities leave the old guys and the young guys
Right.
to make sure everything's still working.
Right.
That's Gilgal to him. Now, it would make more sense to Harry, not the writer of the scripture, but to have, if Shechem's a good place, Shechem's even better. If Shechem's up north, and you would control everything from Jerusalem to Shechem.
Right.
And Shechem's in the hill country. So that would have made more sense to me. But that's not what he continues to retreat back to where the tents are, where the flocks are. And he does have, if things go sideways, he can still retreat across the Jordan.
That's a good point. That's their contingency of where, hey, if we can't, if we lose, or so. But then by that point is they're leaning on their own understanding, not God's word. Well, if we lose, we all retreat to Gilgal. Get your donkeys, get your wife, get your kids, get your goat, and let's go back across the river.
Yeah.
But who's to say that God's going to open up the river again for him?
Right.
Yeah.
Because he had to make a dry path through. But
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
They could
Okay,
use some acacia wood that fell from the sky to make boats.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I had this thought, like, there's so many of us, especially for Albuquerque is a perfect example. Like, if you go to Tramway Montgomery and you look west, you can almost see that downward slope almost all the way to the river. So going 2,000 feet in altitude is from the Rio Grande River to Tramway is about 2,500.
Yeah.
And that's a heck of a walk. And that's on a road that's flat.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm thinking of. And I was like, why does he keep going back? Why does he keep going back? That's just an incredible distance.
Yeah, Pat and I have had these discussions several times. It's like, you know,
I think part of it is that, that's his supply base.
Right.
Gilgal is,
Mhm.
where the flocks and the herds are, possibly where the tabernacle is.
Yeah.
And,
Maybe a more reliable source of water.
Yeah.
And probably their wives and families, so.
Yeah. But it's all conjecture, unfortunately.
Sure.
It's fun, but it's conjecture.
And they've been traveling for a long time, so maybe
Yeah.
they just would like to see.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Uh-oh.
Did these hailstones only fall on the, Hivites?
Give you the Amorites in this case.
Yeah. Or did they also fall on the Israelites that are running after? We saw a lot of that in the desert where, and back in Egypt where things
Yeah.
only fell on the Egyptians. I just was wondering.
Yeah, it doesn't say there were no Israelite casualties. It doesn't identify, Habib getting hit. But it says more of them were killed by the ice balls, than by the Israelites. Basically, these guys were attacked unexpectedly by a force that seems to know how to work together, and they fled. And as they're fleeing, they're being hit from heaven. That's my read on it. But some of the Israelites may have been hurt, killed,
Well, in verse 15, then Joshua returned with all Israel.
to Gilgal. Yeah.
But wouldn't that mean that there were no casualties? If all Israel returned or no?
Well, okay. Well, all of Israel is all the fighting people who came back with me. In a fight,
Okay.
you don't say we lost 20% of the people, but we won. Yeah. Now, I wonder if verse 15 may be out of place. Because who's got 16? Okay, 16 through 21, because they're pursuing, if you take this, they've gotten to Gibeon, now they're pursuing them down this line. That was handy. Yep.
Okay, 5 Amorite kings executed. These 5 kings fled and hid themselves in the cave at Makkedah. And it was told to Joshua, the 5 kings have been found, hidden in the cave at Makkedah. And Joshua said, roll large stones against the mouth of the cave and set men by it to guard them, but do not stay there yourselves. Pursue your enemies, attack their rear guard. Do not let them enter their cities, for the Lord your God has given them into your hand. When Joshua and the sons of Israel had finished striking them with a great blow until they were wiped out, and when the remnant that remained of them had entered into the fortified cities, then all the people returned safe to Joshua in the camp at Makkedah. Not a man moved his tongue against any of the people of Israel.
Okay, that's why I think verse 15 may be out of place. He doesn't chase them to Makkedah and say, got to stop, let's go to Gilgal. He continues a very rapid pursuit, and he keeps the offensive. I mean, if these people stop, we're in their territory, places that they know. And these 5 kings knew where the cave of Makkedah is, and they fled to it going, hey, if we hide in the cave, they'll run past us like in a bad Western movie, and we'll escape. Oh, there they go. So they tried to escape, they tried to save their own lives. What does it say when the 5 men in charge of the armies hide? They're no longer in control. It is literally every man for himself, running as fast as he can. And this is where the teenagers and the early 20-somethings have an advantage over the 30 to 35-year-olds. They're the rear guard by default.
Right.
And the Israelites are attacking them. There is no cohesion in the five armies. They are fleeing, yes, please, to their individual cities or their towns to get home.
Right.
This is not what you want to see if you're a military commander. Everybody running away is not a good thing. I mean, the British give Victoria Crosses to people who rally their troops and stand in the breach. None of these people are standing, including the leaders. God has terrified them and is keeping his word. Thank you. And Joshua gives exactly the right command. He goes, okay, put big stones in front of the cave so they can't get out easily. They're going to have to make noise to escape now. They can't, it goes dark and they sneak out. No, that ain't going to happen. We want guards on there, but continue the pursuit. Get them before they get to the gates, because when the gates are closed, we're done.
Yeah, now it's a siege.
I mean, as Chris said, that converted a defeat into besieged inside your city with food, family, probably additional weapons available. The situation changes when you got 20 feet of stone between you and the bad guys.
Now, let's not forget that they made an 18-mile march overnight. So what they have on them is strictly maybe dry tack and weapons you can carry and maybe a blanket. Because if you're going to march, maybe even less.
Yeah, certainly a water jug.
Right. So if they were under siege, it's over. They can't stay.
Yeah, they're not prepared for a siege by any stretch.
And especially since the siege would then be happening on their enemy's home turf.
Yeah, I mean, this is not Jericho. We're not parked 2 miles north. We come out, march around it once a day for 6 days. Then we do 7 days in a row, blow trumpets, and God destroys the wall. Didn't happen at all. It ain't going to happen again. So we've got to make plans here. And Joshua's get them while they're outside. Now, remember, this is called the Southern Campaign. I would call this the Southern Raid if I was doing it. Now, we're going to execute the 5 kings. Joshua's been, okay. It might be an oddity, but I can hear Lily and everybody at the other end of the table just fine. And I can hear everyone too. Okay, well, the microphone's working better tonight. Excellent.
Yay.
There are fewer people, so it works better. We have less noise in between. Okay. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Chapter 10, 22 through 28.
All right.
And Chris, you can consider this for when you have a victory.
Okay.
Okay. Joshua said, "Open the mouth of the cave and bring those 5 kings out to me." So they brought the 5 kings out of the cave, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth,
Lachish.
and Eglon. When they had brought these kings to Joshua, he summoned all the men of Israel and said to the army commanders who had come with him, "Come here and put your feet on the necks of these kings." So they came forward and placed their feet on the necks. Joshua said to them, "Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Be strong and courageous. This is what the Lord will do to all the enemies you are going to fight." And Joshua put the kings to death and exposed their bodies on 5 poles, and they were left hanging on the poles until evening. At sunset, Joshua gave the order, and they took them down from the poles and threw them into the cave where they had been hiding. At the mouth of the cave, they placed large rocks, which are there to this day. That day, Joshua took Makkedah.
Yep.
He put the city and its kings to the sword and totally destroyed everyone in it.
Okay, you're going to see a pattern here of men, women, children, kings first, but men, women, and children all being executed by the Israelites. Remember, God said, don't have any interaction with them other than to kill them. Joshua is doing exactly what God has told him to do to conquer the land. Now, putting your foot on a king's neck, you're an army commander, which means you probably command the host of Judah or the host of Simeon or Zebulun, whichever. They came forward, put their feet on the necks of the kings. That's a humble position for the king. He's still alive. He has not been killed yet. And Joshua uses as a morale booster that this is what God will do for all of the kings that you're going to fight.
Mhm.
So
It's a smart move.
oh yeah, I mean, he's building it up. Yes, Lily.
But did they step on their necks and like snap them to kill them?
No,
or-
not to snap them. They're probably laying either on their backs or on their bellies. But put your foot right there. You can't move much when somebody's got their foot on your neck. They were completely humbled.
Because they could stick their necks and jaw,
Yeah,
but that's not what they're doing.
yeah. This is to build up the Israelites so that they're confident we won. I mean, these were cities that I'm sure the Israelite warriors in the back of their heads are going, how are we going to get those cities? And they did get one, Makkedah, because where the cave is, they got that. Probably they didn't close the gate fast enough. That's my bet. It doesn't say it specifically, but that's a specific city that he captured.
On that one, I thought it was interesting that they were camped at Makkedah and then later they captured the city. But I mean, it may be just like they're camping the farmland around it or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably staying in the hovels of the people of the villages. I would have separated it out by Judah over there, Simeon over there, Naphtali up there, and that way you surround the place so they can't get more people in. But most houses have food in them. And as Chris pointed out, they might have had a jug of water, maybe a blanket, maybe not, weapons, a little bit of food when they take off from Gilgal going uphill. If you fight with the sun standing still for a full day, I'm sorry, you need a little bit of food in 2 days of fighting. I mean, the approach march is 18 miles. And as Chris pointed out, uphill, kind of like going to tramway from the river. I mean, that's a great analogy. Because we don't think about the men who are doing this usually. Joshua's got to keep them motivated to continue the attack because right now the 5 kings, the people who are in charge of each of the major cities are dead and their mobile forces are dead. It's an opportunity for Israel to swing south. If they're already on the other side of the hills from Gilgal, and the southern campaign is what we're about to start into because he launches it from there. Other thoughts or questions?
So they had a whole night of marching, 18 miles, and then they had a day that was,
36 hours long.
and so, yeah, they could be a little tired and hungry.
Yeah, I mean, you would, if you are a smart commander, when your troops are falling asleep trying to talk to you, you tell them to lay down and get some rest. But he kept the momentum and caught as many of the enemy's good troops as he could. Other thoughts? That's why we're doing Joshua is normally this is not a book that you hear preached. Put your foot on his neck and then we'll impale him for a day, let him rot and throw him in a cave because you can't let it hang overnight. I mean, that's not the normal thing you hear in a Baptist church.
And then when they and pale and were hanging from the trees reminds me of all the Babylonians and when what they did. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
holy moly!
yeah. I mean, you want to talk about war crimes? You know?
Right. I mean, that was the picture I got in
Yeah.
my head. I didn't realize. I mean, I read Joshua before, but it never stood out like that. And seeing the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. To say, hey, look what we can do.
Yeah.
And with,
Fear us, fear the Lord.
Yeah.
right, yeah, and yet with Joshua's message, even though it's kind of gruesome, it's kind of glorifying God
Yeah.
by putting
Yeah.
these guys up instead of, oh, the Israelites are so great, look at all these kings we beheaded. It's like, no, this, like, Joshua was telling them right before he smacked the guys.
Yeah.
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 Fear not the Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
No, this is what God told Joshua to do. I mean, I like him because he's a military commander who's obeying God's orders.
Yeah. I maybe I've read Kings too recently or something, but like I keep on expecting, oh, okay, is this the city where they start forgetting to actually kill the kings or like giving the kings as servants and God gets after it? Like, oh wait, no, that's later.
Yeah, that's later.
Yeah, that's in Judges. We catch up to those kind of yeah. Yeah, and that's why I'm jumping over Judges. I mean, Judges is really depressing, actually. Okay, other questions or comments?
I have a little footnote here saying about the feet on the necks of defeated foes, symbolizing supremacy. This action underlies the notion of making one's enemies a footstool under one's feet in Psalms 110.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, I think you've got 10, 20, 29 to 39.
Then Joshua passed from Makkedah and all Israel with him to Libnah, and they fought against Libnah. And the Lord also delivered it and its king into the hand of Israel. He struck it and all the people who were in it with the edge of the sword. He let none remain in it, but did to its king as he had done to the king of Jericho. Then Joshua passed from Libnah and all Israel with him to Lachish, and they encamped against it and fought against it. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hand of Israel, who took it on the second day and struck it and all the people who were in it with the edge of the sword, according to all that he had done to Libnah. Then Horam, king of Gezer, came up to help Lachish, and Joshua struck him and his people until he left him none remaining. From Lachish, Joshua passed to Eglon and all Israel with him, and they encamped against it and fought against it. They took it on that day and struck it with the edge of the sword. All the people who were in utterly destroyed that day, according to all that he had done to Lachish. So Joshua went up from Eglon and all Israel with him to Hebron, and they fought against it, and they took it and struck it with the edge of the sword, its king, all its cities, and all the people who were in it. He left none remaining according to all that he had done. To Eglon, but utterly destroyed it, and all the people who were in it. Then Joshua returned, and all Israel with him to Debir, and they fought against it. Continue on.
Now let's stop it at 39 for the minute. Okay. We have Hebron in 36, captured, destroyed, everyone killed. In about 3 chapters, you will have Caleb having to recapture Hebron. They don't occupy. Like I said, this is really a raid in the south that disrupts the kingdoms and buys time for Israel to occupy the central highlands. I mentioned Hebron because specifically the king was killed, all the people in the city destroyed. That means some people have fled ahead of Israel's attack. I mean, they're coming towards Hebron. Hey, Sylvia, we're going.
Pack the kids. Let's go.
Yeah, pack the kids, pack the dogs. We got to get out of here. And these people are not fools. If the Israelites do not occupy the city, they can come back in and reoccupy. They burn. It's often mentions burned with fire. You try to burn it's tough to burn a mud brick city. Sorry, it's just, you can't go down to the gas station and get, I need 5 gallons of ethanol here. We're going to really get this going. You've got dry wood that is the ceiling, overlaid with rushes, overlaid with about 9 inches of mud brick. Now, if you get the ceiling burning, the mud brick is fired, it starts to come apart, it collapses. But the other walls are not going to be consumed. You don't have that much wood inside of these small homes. So you can rebuild fairly quickly. That's why Hebron can be defeated here, and a couple of chapters later, they have to fight Hebron again. Now, each one of these verses said, then Joshua and all Israel went to Libnah. 31, Joshua and all Israel with him moved from Libnah to Lachish, captured it, second day. Every person who was in it, notice the people who have fled were not killed. The people, this is a very rapid foot mobile raid going from city to city to city. They're following the roads because this is new territory to them. I mean, unless he's had spies in the land really laying out good maps, which were not mentioned, he's kind of going blind. He's going from city to city to city. The cities were weakened because the kings and their best troops were killed trying to punish Gibeon. God used Gibeon as a bait, a lure for them, and Israel came up and conquered them by slaughtering their warriors with the help of God with the hailstones, and now they're collecting these string of cities, and their economies, their hierarchy are completely disheveled. Probably in terms of fighting age males, they have less than 50% of them alive. And you're not going to come after Israel if you're trying to rebuild your towns, rebuild your economy, plow the fields. I mean, little things that we don't think about, these people had to do because Egypt didn't send grain to them. Grain and slaves and raw materials came from the Levant to Egypt. It didn't come back. So they're not going to be a threat to Israel for several years to come, 5 to 10 probably. Yes.
So where did they get their swords? We keep hearing about which is a sword.
They got swords when they left Egypt. Some came armed. We know that the Joshua and 12,000, 12 Eleph had swords when they fought the Amalekites successfully. That's when Moses, if his hands were up, were winning. His hands got heavy, they were losing. And Hur comes alongside and they're holding his hands up. So they had some there. They've been collecting them as they win. Now, that means they're not King Arthur and the great Excalibur. You're talking about a sickle sword that's only got a blade that's about 12 inches and a handle on it made out of bronze. It isn't an iron sword. You probably have axes. You can make those out of metal, or you can make them out of obsidian or some chert that you can sharpen. So the Maoris in New Zealand used shark's teeth and chert embedded into wood to have a sword. And chert stays pretty sharp.
And they wouldn't have had an iron sword maybe till at least the time of David?
Yeah. Now, iron doesn't show up. Iron is not normal use until the Philistines arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And the Greeks had iron. If you notice, there is a king that Horam, king of Gezer. Gezer is in the Philistine territory. That's the only Philistine city that is mentioned here. He's coming up to a neighbor to try to assist them. And fortunately, as he's approaching Lachish from the west, the Israelites are reducing Lachish and they kill him and his soldiers. So Joshua has got a good command system and some warriors who know how to fight. Now,
Then that also probably alerted the Philistines that, oh, that dude hasn't returned yet, huh?
yeah, our king and call it 300 warriors didn't come back. This is not a good thing.
Right, yeah.
But, all of the cities they're fighting are all hill country. They're not in the plains. Why do you want the plain? The plain's only about 8 miles wide. You can grow things there like grapes, wheat, sorghum, just about anything you want, because the rivers, small ones, come out of the hill country down across the plain and go in the Mediterranean. That 8 mile wide between the hill country and the Mediterranean coast doesn't belong to Israel until the time of David. I'd like to say that it did, but it doesn't.
Which is what, 400 something years away?
Yeah, about 400.
Yeah.
So Joshua is doing his best with what he's got. Okay. I guess I've got 40, and then I can immediately shift it over. Okay, verse 40. So Joshua struck all the land, the hill country, the Negev, the lowland, and the slopes that descend to the Dead Sea. Nothing can grow there, so fine, you can have it. Just as the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded. Joshua struck them from Kadesh Barnea, even as far as Gaza, all the country of Goshen, even as far as Gibeon. Joshua captured all the kings, their land at one time, because the Lord, the God of Israel, fought for Israel. So Joshua and all Israel with him returned to the camp at Gilgal. They have fought all the cities, and they're going back to Gilgal now. I have no idea how long it took to do that. I'm betting about 6 weeks. But that's a complete swag. Because this was very rapid. They took out the armies at Gibeon, and then they took advantage of the situation and destroyed the cities that they could, killing the new kings. Long live the king. Oh, he didn't live long. And so you've disrupted the power structure in each one of these cities. And the population has probably been reduced by half. All right. Are we ready to go into the northern campaign? Chapter 11, 1 through 4, please.
When Jabin, king of Hazor, heard of this, he sent to Jobab, king of Madon, and the king of Shimron, and to the king of Ashkapah, and the kings who were in the northern hill country and in the Arabah south of Chinneroth, and in the lowland and Naphoth Dor on the west, to the Canaanites in the east and the west of the Amorites and the Hittites, the Perizzites and the Jebusites in the hill country, and the Hivites under Hermon, the land of Mizpah. And they came out with all their troops, a great horde in number, like the sand that is on the seashore, with very many horses and chariots. And all these kings joined their forces and came to and camped
Okay,
together.
you can stop there. Yeah, okay. The northern kings are doing exactly what the southern kings were going to do. But they have an advantage. They have the Jezreel Valley, which is fairly wide, level, and they're coming from what is now Lebanon and from Western Syria to form an alliance. And we've got a master weapon. We have chariots. The Egyptians fight with chariots. We've got chariots. We have level ground. And we're going to come together. And when these guys come out of the mountains, we got them. Because once they get on the level ground, they can't stop a chariot attack. And they're probably right. Militarily, a chariot attack comes in and they barrage you with arrows. And then you have a second chariot charge with dropped lances to break up infantry formations. If it's not a military that is trained to fight them, chariots are the tank of this period. And what's Joshua got? He's got some sickle swords, he's got some axes, he's got homemade weapons, and they're infantry, which means slower than horse-drawn weapons. So they're going to get together in the Hula Valley, which is, you have the Sea of Galilee, Chinnereth, the Jordan River, and the Lake Hula, and Hula Valley. So there's lots of grass for the horses, and everything's good. Let's get together at a particular watering hole, and that's where we'll assemble our forces, and then we'll get them. Once again, it was a good idea, you know. Okay, Maria, how about 5 through 9 of chapter 11?
And all of these kings joined their forces and came and encamped together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them, for tomorrow at this time I will give over all of them, slain to Israel. You shall hamstring their horses and burn their chariots with fire." So Joshua and all his warriors came suddenly against them by the waters of Merom and fell upon them. And the Lord gave them into the hand of Israel, who struck them and chased them as far as Great Sidon and Misrephoth Maim, and eastward as far as the valley of Mizpah. And they struck them until he left none remaining. And Joshua did to them just as the Lord said to him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots with fire.
Okay, once again, Joshua seizes the initiative, strikes unexpectedly, and these guys are not really organized to fight as a unit. Joshua's guys have fought together now, some going back 40 years. So they know each other, they know what the other person will do, they know what the other people are capable of. 5 kings who really don't trust each other, who have been fighting each other with chariots previously, are now going to come together and we'll beat these guys. Nice plan.
Yeah, they thought they had the upper hand.
Yeah, and it shows that Mizpah, okay, the Jordan River is coming down, Hula Lake, there's some marshes there, and then you get down to the Sea of Galilee. To the west of that is the waters of Merom. That's where they're going to assemble. If you ever go to Israel, you know, you can go swimming there. It's a nice place. Good beach. But when they flee in 2 directions. Back to the coast, or back up to where they came from in Syria. Joshua's men capture the horses, hamstring them. Now, you burn the chariots too. Why would God tell them to do them? These are great weapons.
Because they want to lean on God's
Authority
and
versus-
guidance versus man-made weapons.
Yep. Yeah, we tend to lean on technology. So did they. And at this point, God says, hamstring the horses. Horses take an inordinate amount of water and food. If you're going to live in the hill country, which God knows that's where they're going to be, horses don't do well in the hill country. Donkeys do, but not horses. And if you burn the chariots, you've destroyed the weapons.
Right.
Now, I'm sure they picked up some swords here. They picked up some
Yeah.
spears. I mean,
Yeah.
they got some goodies out of this. But all of these kings have been kicked back. It doesn't say that they killed all these kings. Wish it did, but
It sounds like they had dispersed them too.
yeah. Oh, they dispersed. Yeah, the coalition is no more. But again, that's why I've got this map up there that I put out to everybody. This is Waters of Merom, but that's all the directions they ran. 5 different ways. They're not going to be an organization again.
Well, they came from a number of different
Oh,
places
yeah.
too, so if they just retreated,
Yeah,
they would be going in a lot of different
yeah.
directions.
I'm running home.
Yeah,
If the Israelites are a single unit, they can maybe catch 2 of those elements fleeing. And again, they hit them in camp
Suddenly,
quickly. I mean, all the adjectives here are a raid, a fast attack. To just go ahead.
Well, I was thinking like if this was either before the 5 kings and their armies had a plan to decide, okay, what happens if we do have to retreat? Because if they had that sort of locker room agreement, they might have been able to, guerrilla warfare,
Yeah.
and then like turn back and do
Yeah.
something. But nope,
Yeah.
them
Well,
not having that planned out.
most amateurs do not have a plan B, C, and D.
Mhm.
I mean, that's one of the blessings and curses of modern warfare is the general is in his chariot and says, we're going there. That's the way they did it. And 5 kings agreeing is really tough. I mean, that's why
War by committee. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally gonna work.
And think about the Crusades. We have 3 kings going to save Jerusalem. 0 for 3. None of them made it.
Yeah.
They got distracted. Hey, let's sack Byzantium. That's a good idea. I mean, those kind of things happen because they don't have good planning. They didn't have the idea of a general staff didn't exist until the Germans developed it in the 1870s.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, I don't know, an audiobook I've been reading off and on was talking about, like, what is a commander's intent and what does it do for the people fighting under it. Like, they have a lot of autonomy under it,
oh yeah,
but they're still, their main goal is to help accomplish the commander's intent. And
Yep.
so, okay, they at least would have, having at least that sort of organization
Yeah.
figured out ahead of time.
that type of organization doesn't exist. You see it in the Roman period. You never see it in the Egyptian period. So, I mean, you're applying what we know and go, yeah,
Right.
organization matters. And I agree with you entirely. But these guys were literally, standing in their chariot going, okay, that's probably where we ought to go, guys. Follow me.
Well, and it's especially interesting that God's using the tactics or lack thereof of the time to make this work for the Israelites who are stiff-necked and have gotten distracted numerous times when left out on their own.
Oh, yeah, they do a lot of squirrel.
Yeah. And so God's like, oh, I'm going to make this work because in a century, I don't know. He could have done it at any time in history he wanted, but he picked this one and made things work out.
then you pick Joshua.
Yeah.
Their leader.
Okay,
I have a question. How long, how far is Gilgal from the waters of Rome? How long would it have taken them to get up there?
If they're still camped at Gilgal, which is as good as we got, probably 3 to 5 days walking. Depends on how fast they're walking, but the distance isn't great. But there isn't a interstate to walk on either. They probably, I would guess, and this is pure guess, that from Gilgal, I would follow the Jordan River up to the Sea of Galilee, and then we would go to the waters of Mirmah. Because the next section, who's got that? Who's up next?
Jolene.
Okay, how about 10 through 16?
And Joshua turned back at that time and captured Hazar and struck its king with the sword. And Hazar formerly was the head of all those kingdoms. And they struck with the sword all who were in it, devoting them to destruction. There was none left but breathed. And he burned Hazar with fire, and all the cities of those kings, and all their kings. Joshua captured and struck them with the edge of the sword, devoting them to destruction, just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. But none of the cities that stood on mounts did Israel burn, except Hazar alone, that Joshua burned. And all the spoily cities and the livestock the people of Israel took for their plunder. But every person they struck with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, and they did not leave any who breathed. Just as the Lord had commanded Moses, his servant, so Moses commanded Joshua. And so Joshua did. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord had commanded Moses. So Joshua took all that land, the hill country, and all the Negev, and all the land of Goshen, and the lowland, and the Arabah, and the hill country of Israel, and its lowland.
Okay, this we're about to enter. No, the next chapter is nothing but a list, but the list of all the cities that Joshua has conquered in these two very rapid campaigns. I would guess that these campaigns took about 5 years. That's only based on he and Caleb talking. And Caleb said, I'm 85 years old today, and I'm as strong as the day I came out of Egypt. So 40 years of wandering, 5 years of fighting. Caleb wants to go after Hebron. So that's why I say about 5 years of fighting in the hill country, the southern campaign, the northern campaign, and the city of Hatzor. Hatzor is one in the Middle Bronze Age, was a huge city of about 40,000 people. It was the largest single city in what is now Israel. And it was the big dog, and that's why it says it was formerly the king of all of these cities. It ruled that. But when the Bronze Age ended, or the Middle Bronze Age, and we went into Late Bronze, the cities start to fall apart. How much of that city was occupied, how much was fortified, excavations cannot really answer the question. But it's the only one that he burns of the ones that he's captured. Why would he keep them standing?
Might be nice to have something to move into.
Yeah, when they distribute the land, some of these cities are going to become Israelite cities. Some of them will become Levite cities, cities of refuge. So the cities that he's leaving standing, he's got a plan to, when we separate the army to hold the land and really farm it, we need somewhere for our people to live. So you don't destroy everything with that in mind. Okay, we're at 5 of. Let's pick it up at verse 18 next week. And so we're in chapter 11, verse 18. Are there any questions out there before I shut down? I give it about 30 seconds. Because on my clock here, it's 7:57. And thank you, folks, for staying with us. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a little bit of fun.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to shut down. Thank you. See you again next week.
Bye.
Okay, off on volume and station selector is moved. End stream.